Okay, let's begin today. Today it's going to be an easy one. Um, Today I'm going to talk about conditional selection statements. These are statements about how the workflow of your application is going to be, what kind of workflow your application will follow. Um, Basically, in C Sharp, we have two different statements. One of them is the if statement, and the other one is the switch statement. I expect that for this one, I'm going to be able to explain both. And then on another streaming, I'm going to talk about how to make simpler the switch. So right now, I have created another branch in order to know what's going on here. So I'm going to create a folder here. Oh no, I'm going to create here a new folder. This is 02. And the name is selection statements. Selection statements. Then we are going to use our command line terminal. There, then the exercises there. Access 01 there, 02. Okay. Okay. Now we are here. We are going to create our new application that we need to do. So we just grab up .NET new console. This is going to create the new application, console application. You are going to see right now we have this empty, and now we have information here. So basically, for this program, we have conditions. We have maybe int counter equals 5. Something happens. Something processes counter and changes its value, and then we have counter 5 something process value, and then we have a condition. We say okay, if, and then we need to validate, and this is a condition. If counter equals 3, if that happens, you use the curly braces and then use console right line counter value is 3. Okay. This double equal sign means equals. The assignation, if you remember, the assignation operator is the equal sign, but if you use it double, it means a validation between what you have on the left against what you have on the right. So this one means counter equals 3. If the value of counter is 3, then this is going to return true. So I'm going to change it to counter equals 3. Something happens there. So clear screen, and .NET build. Everything's okay. Yeah. Clear screen, .NET run. And you are going to see hello world, and then counter value is 3. Okay. If we change it to 4, .NET run. Hello world. We only have hello world, and because counter doesn't have a value, it doesn't write anything else, just hello world. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to remove console right line and just an empty line. Well, what we could do, if this condition happens, we are able to do this or another condition. By the way, counter value is 3. Console right line counter has not its initial value. Okay, I'm going to change it to 3, and I just want to show you how .NET run. I just want to show you how these controls you have here. Hello world, counter value 3, counter has not initial value. Now the condition, this is a situation that you are able to do here. You are able to remove the curly braces, and if you don't have any curly brace, the execution will continue with the next line. I mean, here you validate if counter equals 3. If this condition is true, then execute the next line and only the next line. You're going to see here right now .NET run. Okay. Hello world, counter value is 3, and then counter has its initial value. It seems that there's nothing different, but if I change its value to 4 and then I re-execute this .NET run, you have hello world, and counter has not its initial value. It's only this grind that line. But why is happening that? If I use the curly braces, I force the compiler to execute everything that is between them. If I don't use them, uh, then the if condition applies only to the first immediate line after the condition. So for this case, if I do it this way, .NET run, it doesn't write anything, just hello world. Okay, well, what's the situation now? If I have a value here, then these lines are going to happen, the ones that are between the curly braces, and if not, if that condition is not, then I'm able to write else, and then console write line. The same situation applies here for the else. You are able to write counter value is 4 is different than 3. Okay, so you are able to do .NET run. This is going to grab up counter values 3. Okay, I'm going to change it to 4 and .NET run. Counter value is different than 3. Okay, and it's this line, and it applies the same case. If you only have one line, clear screen, .NET run, counter value is different than 3. Console write line, counter value is, and I'm going to write up counter .NET run. I have removed the curly braces, so it doesn't matter. Counter is different than 3, counter value is 4. If I change it to 3, then it's going to write up these two lines, and at the end it's going to write this one. .NET run. Counter value is 3, counter has not its initial value, and counter value is 3. Okay, I'm going to keep the curly braces. I personally don't like using only the next line condition. Sometimes you forget about it, and or you may confuse another developer. So personally I don't use it. Okay, you have the if and you have the else, but what if you have a special condition? It's not 3, but it's 5. Maybe one way to do this, you will think, okay, if counter is 5, I could do if counter equals 5 and then begin again the condition, execute these lines, and then again execute else. But now we have if nested ifs statements. This is possible. There is nothing that stops you to do this. But there's another way to do this, and it's the else if statement. If you have another condition, for example, counter equals 5, you are able to write else if, and this is an else that will have another condition. So counter equals 5, then console write line counter value is not 3. Okay, then I'm going to write up the value of counter. So .NET run. Okay, it's going to execute these lines. Counter value is not 3. Yeah, counter value is not 3, and counter has not its initial value. Okay, now you have here this, and you are able to do okay, and then else if you don't have a limit, counter equals 6, console write line another counter is not 3, neither 3 nor 5. Counter is neither 3 nor 5. Okay. Then we have special situation, and we will create several cases for that. The basic cases that we have here is the way of how you're able to flow your application in uh, different cases. Okay, 5, and then we we are able to we are able to we're able to well we could use the switch statement. Before continue for this one, the add statement, the selection statements, you have this if condition, but you have something new since C#7, and it's pattern matching with the if statement. This pattern matching is something that you are able to do if you use is. So for this one, you are able to validate something. If that something um, is a type of condition, a type of variable. I mean, you are able to validate if something is an integer or a float, a string, or any other thing. Right now I'm reading the book, so just give me a second. Okay, the is statement is something that you are you could use for some conditions related to the type of the object that you have. For example, you have object, the base class object. Object is the base class for everything. So I have object and I have I'm a number equals 7. Okay, and then I have another thing. I have an integer. I'm an integer. Okay, and another one that says I'm a float. This one is 7.756. Aha. Now we have int 3 times equals 3. Okay, this is going to do multiply. I'm going to comment this ones. Control it's this one. Okay, if you select some lines on Visual Studio Code and then click on edit and then toggle line comment, this is going to transform all the lines that you grow up into a comment. And the other way is control close curly braces, yeah, and the same combination of keys, remove the comments. Okay, so if I'm an integer is int, this is the condition that this is what I was talking about. This is the pattern matching. This line is if I'm an integer variable is of the type int, then we are going to do console dot write line. It's an I'm an integer is a number and 3 times it is that we're going to write up the okay, it's taking time. Okay, this is back. Um okay. the way of how we may continue with this is, well, you are validating that this variable, this object variable, is an int, and then my int, you are able to create a new variable of the type int. In this case, I'm placing the name my int, and my int is going to keep the value of I'm an integer, but it's going to change it or cast it as an integer. So instead of using I'm an integer and placing the result for 3 times I'm an integer, I'm going to do I'm int 3 times, okay. Well, else if this condition is not, if this pattern is not being matched, I have console write line an, an integer is not a number, it's something else. Okay, this pattern matching, that this is based on only validating the pattern, is not considering its value. Its value is passed through this new variable that only holds integers. So this is a different kind of condition. It doesn't validate the value of your variable, it validates the type of your variable. So for this case, for the first one, we we have I'm an integer equals, and we have the double quotes. So this is not an integer, we have a string. We have a string that internally has an integer, but we but the main object that this is it is an integer. So it's going to grab up the last line. Clear clean, and then .net run. Okay. What's going on here is I'm an integer is not a number. It's something else. Okay. Now, what do we need to do for this? We are going to change this. We have I'm an integer. So .net run is going to execute the first one because now I'm an integer is really an integer. Hello world, I'm an integer is a number, and 3 times it is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. Okay. The same happens for the float. If I'm a float is float, my float, then I'm going to write console write line a float is a number and its value is, I'm going to grab up directly the value of this one. A float, no, my float. Okay. Now, if that doesn't happen, then the condition is, well, the result will be console write line a float is not a number, it's something else. Okay, then we're going to write .net run. This is going to display I'm an integer and its number is 3 times it's 21, and then I'm a float is not a number. I'm going to change it. then we are just give me a second because of the dead shy. Screen. Okay. .NET run. Then it's going to say I'm a float is a number and its value is okay. Need to validate. Okay, the way to change it could be this one. Maybe it's considering a double or something like that. So that's not a float. That will be a double. I'm a float is a number and its value is 7.7.6. The big condition here, and maybe the situation that you will have is that if you are using interfaces, or you have a base class and that base class have another class, a class that inherits from it, you are going to have a conditions where maybe it won't be clear as here with the float if you have the type that you are looking for. So you have to validate this condition very well. This is something that will may useful when you have a factory, or when you have several projects, several objects that have the same class, or that are using implementing several different interfaces. But that's it. Maybe this is not something that you will use. It's good to know that this exists, and that this exists since version C#7, but maybe you won't use it on your day by day. So now, after that, this is the if statement condition, if statement using pattern matching. Okay, then have here. Then here I'm going to write up if statement, if else statement. Okay, and now what we have here we have another thing. Now I'm going to explain about the switch statement. And this switch statement, the switch statement is like the nested case for if statement that we had here, but you need less code to do that. So it begins easy. We're going to have int numeric condition equals 5, and then you have a switch statement. You have switch, and you are going to validate something. That validation is going to be this one, numeric. Okay, then after the switch you have to place curly braces, and then you have to write up case. Case is it's the same as the if variable equals a value. We have the same here. We have switch, numeric condition, curly braces, case. So when numeric condition equals 1, it's going to happen the following, and then you have a colon, and console write line, then you say numeric condition allows me to print the first line. Okay, after that, and when you have placed all the code that you need to right here, this is the second line, for example, this is the second line, you have to write up break. This break means that the execution of the code is going to stop here, and then it's going to continue after the closing curly braces. If you don't place it, then it's going to execute the next case. Then case 2, console write line, it's the second case. Okay, then a break, and as you see, you don't need to write up if the condition, the curly braces, and close the curly braces, and then again else if condition. So you are able to have here case 7, then its value is okay. Okay, its value is 7. Okay, then you have, maybe you have another case 10. You have to have something in mind. These cases are only related with the type of the variable that you have sent here. This case, every case must be an int. You are not able to use anything else. And each one of these cases are static cases. You are not able to use a condition. For example, int condition value equals 10. If I have the case for 10, you are not able to do this condition value. Well, I remember that you are not able to do this. I don't know if that has changed in the last version 10. Okay, so I'm going to clear screen, .NET run. Okay, we have an error. A constant value was expected, and this was 77 to 22, and the line is this one. You don't have any error here, but that able to do. You are able to function on statement variable constant value. Well, constant value. You are able, you not change it, because that will make your program work crazy. So we have case 10. Okay, and now we have the following. Okay, I have the numeric condition 5, so for this I have case 1, case 2, case 7, and case 10. What's going to happen? Well, right now it's not going to happen anything because we don't have any case for 5. I'm going to change this. Well, I'm going to comment this so I won't have any warning. Let that run. And we have only the hello world line. We don't have anything else. Why? Because we are not matching any of these cases. If our variables are if the variable will have another value like 1, then we are going to see another result. For this case, hello world, and then numeric condition allows me to print the first line. This is the second line. Okay, but for the case of 5, we don't have any of them, and this is not going to execute anything. So for this case, we could have I'm going to show you the break. If I delete the break, okay, I'm not going to delete it, I'm going to comment it. Case 1 is going to execute these 2 lines, and then continue to the execution of the case 2. So .NET run, clear screen, .NET run. That's something that have changed. Break needs have to write in order to end that case, and you have something hidden here, and you want to continue with this. You are able to, instead of that, just give me a second, because you have here and you want to continue, go to case 8. Yeah, you are able to mention the case, so we have to write here case 8 console write line. Case 8 has been accessed, executed. Now for this one, console, you have to write break. Okay, now what we are able to do? We are able to do the following. Case 9. If you want to mix 2 different cases, you are able to do that writing them one next another. You can write up case 9 and then case 8, and for this condition, if the numeric condition has the value of 9 or has the value of 8, it's going to execute this one every time. If you have a condition and then you match the condition, at the end you have to grab up the break, so you will have to go to the end of the statement of the switch. And if not, you are able to write up go to and the case that you want to go to case 8 for this case. Okay, so this situation is sometimes you will want to use go to. I don't recommend it because in that case you will get some spaghetti code, and if you have several conditions and one condition goes to another one and then gets back, maybe you will get something like a spaghetti. You won't know where it comes from, how it's been executed, or how did you get to that step. For this example, I'm going to leave it as is. Memory condition is 1. Clear screen .NET run. Then it's going to be case 1 and then execute the case 8. Memory condition allows me to print the first line, this second line, and then case 8 has been executed. Now I'm going to change the value to 9. Changing the value to 9, .NET run. Then we have only hello world case 8 has been executed. The value of numeric condition is 9. This is because it goes to 9 and then immediately we have the case 8 and we have the execution of this. The other case that we could have is the label case 11. Console correct line condition with a label. Okay, so for this case condition with a label, you have go to my label. Okay, and what is that my label? My label is you are able to label a part of the code. My label, this is the name of the label, colon, well, basically that's it. We'll get back here. So we're going to get us back if that way. It's going to be an infusion because we're going to have this value and back. And it's not to have the only that later. I'm going to change the value. So here, I'm going to grab console write line executing application. Okay, and then my label begins with this. I have console 8 condition with a label, and then numeric condition equals 1. This is going to change the value of numeric condition, and when we get back here, this numeric condition has the value of 1. Then go to my label, and this is going to return here or move to here to execute. Okay. I'm going to set up int counter equals int execution times equals 0. Okay, I'm going to execute in application. Here I have the execution times times plus plus. Remember about the plus plus that I explained on previous transmissions, times. Okay, now I'm going to execute it with numeric condition equals 9. So .NET Run, we're going to see only one execution. Executing application 0 times, case executed. I'm going to change it to 1 so that this information will be accurate. So it's the first time and that counts as 1. And now I just need to do the back because okay, execution times 1.NET Run. Now this is going to be different. Executing application 1 time. Case 8. Now I'm going to change it to number 11. Okay, have 11.NET Run. We're going to have two executions. Execution application 1 time, condition with a label. Executing application 2 times. Numeric condition allows me to print the first line. This is the second line, and case 8 has been executed. We have different executions. The first time it's going to be numeric condition equals 11. So it goes here, condition with that label, numeric condition, go to label, and then label which execution of application. So in this case, it's to previous step, and then condition change to one. To this basically to okay, console write line case 8 has been executed, and that's it. And yeah, basically this could make I usually use the switch case only with the case and the break. I don't use the go to label or go to case. But I handle another type of cases because there's another one. I have the 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 8, 10, 11. But what happens if I don't have the value right now? I know that the value that it's possible that the variable will have another value, but neither of them will be here, or it's a long list that I will have to write because I don't know, maybe for this case the method it's expecting a number between 0 and 100. So what I will need to do if these are the only specific cases and I have to handle the other cases, well, I don't have to write them. I don't have to write the case 11, no, the case 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, no. There's a special sentence, well, condition, well, case, it's default. And default is only going to show you default console write line, writing up the default line. The value is not a special value. So this is the case break that, and the same as the other ones. You have the break line, or you could go to case 8, okay, case 9. So for the default is going to be the cases that you don't have this here, this one goes up to the at the end. The default goes at the end, and I'm going to change the condition to 77. 77, clear screen, .NET, run, and then you have the following. You have executing application one time, running up the default line, the value is not a special value, and then it gets back to the case 9. Case 8 has been executed. This one. It's break and goes out of the switch. Well, that this is basically everything about the switch clause, the switch statement. You have that, and also you have the pattern matching with the switch statement. And similar to the if, you have that condition since C#7, not before, C#7 and later. And for that, the case values are no longer needed because you will have, they are not going to be a literal value, they can be patterns. So how this works for the case? You can write the name of the type, for example. Case. Okay, switch statement with using pattern matching. Okay, for this switch using pattern matching, we could have the following. This is the switch statement. And that the case is similar with the if. You may want to validate an object is a specific object of a certain type. This is about the value that it has, it is about the type of the value that it holds. So, just a second, I'm going to create another object. So I can write up object my object equals, and then this is going to be a string. This is my string, okay? And then switch. Where I'm going to evaluate my object, and then case string. In case that my object is a string, my string, okay? What's going to happen? Console write line, my object is a string with the value okay, just give me a sec. Value, the value string. Okay, my string. Okay, here. And then maybe you have to consider, okay, is this a string or is this a string builder? My builder console, right line. My object is a string builder. Break. The the other situations that we have, it's we still have default, and default means that neither these cases are this. So for this one, I'm going to console right line. My object is an object. I don't know what type. Okay. And the other case, and this is a good situation for this because it's also a type. You have the special case for null. Right. You have a special condition where your value, your object is defined by the declaration of the type. Okay, you have here my object is declared as the type of my object. But what happens with null? Null is a specific type because it's null, and it's similar to object. Any class that you create on C Sharp comes from an object class, comes from the object class, and the case null is something that is null, is nothing. Okay, so for that case, you are also to evaluate it and saying right line, my object is null. Then what's going to happen here? You are going to have different types of evaluations. This is my string. I place a semicolon and it's a colon. Clear screen.net. Run. The name of the type of this namespace. Okay. For this case, I need to use another case using this text. Okay, this is slow, but I hope this gets faster. Come on, so use system.text. Okay, and now .NET run. Yeah. Hello world, my object is a string with the value this is my string. Okay. If I create new string builder, I have a new string builder .NET run. Then we have hello world, my object is a string builder. Okay, I don't know why I wrote here my object is a string builder. And then if we change it to null, well, 7, this is a number, and that number is going to be something else. My object is an object. I don't know what type of. Okay, and then I change it to instead of 7, null. time. I don't like this too much time, but I don't know what I no script. Okay, and then .NET run. We have the hello world. My object is to that's the validation, and so this is the way of how the if and the switch statement works. Um, this is this is just a condition of how you are able to change the values, validate the values, and execute certain parts of your code depending of the value that your variable has. Um, there are other ways to simplify the switch statement. You are able to change or write it up in a different way so that you will have an easier or a faster way to read it or to write it. I'm going to talk about that on the next time. For today, I think that we are okay. We have covered two different execution condition statements, the if and the switch statement. So don't forget to follow me on Twitch so that you will get notice about any new transmission. I'm uploading these videos to YouTube. Also, if you want to change to watch them later, and I'm going to look for a blog or something where I could write up about the examples, about a brief explanation of this. It's not going to be an extensible or a so long article. It's just going to be a brief talk about what will be next. And if you have questions, you are able to leave the questions on the YouTube channel or here at Twitch, and we could move forward. I know and I understand that I'm covering very basic topics, but I want to begin with the basics with .NET 5 and then move forward to another things, maybe microservices, web API applications, or Windows applications, or web applications. So we are going to move forward from the beginning to another section, and basically this is it. If you want to learn something else, or if you want to another examples on Azure or on publishing, let me know so that I can prepare uh, some topics for that. Okay, I'm Jäger. Have a nice day. Have a nice week. See you later. Bye.